What up, y'all? We back again with the day 10 reaction. Well, Miss Faith jumped back. Well, the woman who wants to be known as Faith takes the stand again, and we get another special guest. So we start off Wednesday with Faith is under direct questioning from Assistant U.S. Attorney Nadia Shahada, where Faith described meetings with Kelly in Texas, Los Angeles, and New York, during which she was reluctant to engage in sex acts. He forced her anyway and once showed her a gun as a way of intimidating her. Now, that's very puzzling that you would be flown out to 3 different locations and raped 3 different times. Yet, of your own free will, you return back each time to be raped again. He had a weapon, so I wasn't going to step out of line, Faith told the jury about a 2018 encounter in Los Angeles. During that meeting, she said she told him she didn't want to have sex. He put a pillow on the floor and demanded oral sex, she said. He grabbed the back of my neck forward, she said, forcing her to perform the sex act. He told her that he wanted her to greet him with excitement when he entered a room and that she failed to comply. So basically, she's stating that he's treating her like a dog. Now, he put a pillow on the floor and demanded oral sex. So he made her do the ultimate submission move, and I'm assuming get on your knees. I'm going to tell you, I find this very hard to believe. And she may be the least credible after reading and listening to some of what she said yesterday out of everybody I've heard. Because to say I was flown out all of these times and he forced me to have sex because I didn't want to goes to state that what you're saying is you willingly went and got raped on multiple occasions. They continued to communicate through phone calls, texting, and FaceTime in February 2018. They met at a New York City hotel. Why did she go? Let me see how it's going to go one more time, Faith testified. So I've been raped 3 times, but let me keep talking to him. Let me keep FaceTiming him. Let me keep texting him. And let me see if on the 4th time he might not rape me. She said she was left alone in the hotel suite for a long time. Why didn't she leave? It was part of Kelly's rules, Faith said. Don't leave anywhere without his permission, she told the jury. So, let me get this straight. Texas, Los Angeles, and New York. Okay, we'll say New York, since she's saying New York. This is the 3rd time she's getting ready to get raped. And not only are you going to get raped, you're going to get held hostage for a 3rd straight time. Pardon me if I find this quite absurd and just non-believable. When he arrived, she resisted. When he tried to have sex with her, she said, so he began masturbating the videos on his iPad of himself having sex with other women. Notice she didn't say girls, other women. Faith said Kelly told her she needed to be more like the women in the videos. Eventually, Faith said she concluded, I don't want to be a part of this. When Kelly's assistant summoned him for a meeting, she said he patted her on the shoulder as he left and told her she had a lot to learn. He warned her not to defy him, telling her, I am a bleeping legend. So again, for somebody who wanted to rape you, who had raped you twice already, you was able to resist this time. And then someone who normally rapes you and forces you to have sex, he just went and said, I'm going to just go jerk off. and was having a casual conversation with you about how you should behave more like the women in the videos. Again, I find this very hard to believe. And to be honest with you, either R.Kelly slept with somebody's daughter or somebody's wife or somebody's husband or somebody's son. But he pissed off somebody in a very high place for the feds to bring these type of witnesses out to the public and put them on the stand. The feds don't usually operate like this. They usually, when the feds come knocking on your door, that's usually it. They usually have everything they need to prosecute you and convict you already. And for them to put all of these women on the stand and the one guy, and nobody has any hard evidence at all. It's just a bunch of he said, she said, and a bunch of stories. Nobody can come to the table and say, hey, let me show you this. Let me show you this text. Let me show you this video. Let me show you any of these things that happened to show you that I was raped or I was held in this type of situation. She left the next day and flew home to Texas. She said she sent him an apology text. I didn't hate him, Faith said. I just hope he didn't have any hard feelings toward me. So, what's some water for that? So I'm apologizing for a man who raped me twice. That's what I'm apologizing to. And I'm saying, I hope you don't. I didn't hate him. I just hope he didn't have any hard feelings toward me. As if to say, I hope we can do this again. Later, when she discovered bumps in her mouth, she went to a doctor and was told she had herpes. She tried to contact Kelly. He didn't respond, she said. He totally cut off communication with me. She contacted a lawyer and filed a police report with the Dallas police, later suing him for failing to disclose a sexually transmitted disease. Eventually, she said, Kelly called and told her, you still have a friend in me. Who the hell is this? Michael Jackson and Ben? What the hell is he talking about? You still have a friend in me. A call recorded by her lawyer. But when she asked him about the herpes, she said he told her if he had something, we weren't going to discuss it over the phone. Which means he's been used to being shaken down on a regular now. So he understands, hey, this conversation probably being recorded. Late after she appeared in the Surviving R.Kelly Lifetime series, Faith said she was contacted by a woman who worked with Kelly, who told her the star planned to publish nude photos of the witness if she continued to speak publicly. Faith testified the photos were later posted to a Facebook page called Surviving the Lies. Now, never was able to see that Facebook page and really wasn't interested in it, but I'm 40 at this point, so a lot of the women around my age or a little younger were very interested in it. And they did tear down a lot of the women who was on the show. But we must also state, even if a woman is a hooker or a prostitute, nobody deserves to be raped. So for me, one has nothing to do with the other. My point is, my biggest issue is, did it happen? That's all I ever care about. Now, I won't look at you as the victim immediately either. You're going to have to prove to me that it happened. And once I can see enough of that evidence, then I can make a decision and say, okay, he either did it or this story sounds fishy. On cross-examination by one of Kelly's lawyers, Devereaux Canick, Faith acknowledged she visited Kelly at least 5 times on the road and that each encounter featured some form of unwanted sexual contact, abuse, or intimidation. After all of that, his lawyers asked, you went to visit him again? Correct, she said. Your choice? Right. Yes, she said. You felt like he violated you in each and every one of these trips. Correct, she said. Some type of rape or sexual assault in each and every last one of these trips. Her words, not mine. These are quotes. And yet you kept going back. Yet you felt the need to reach out and apologize to make sure he didn't have any hard feelings about you not wanting to have sex one time. Faith acknowledged she had appeared on at least 5 to 7 talk shows and on social media programs, but did not get paid for them. She said she received $1,000 for a picture of herself, her sister, and Kelly that was used in Surviving R.Kelly. So again, somebody else was paid by the Me Too movement. And I keep telling you guys, a lot of this is business, big business. These women are trying to get at any powerful man that they can at this point. And see, I think my biggest issue with this case is people being able to retroactively go back now and say 20 years ago, hey, I was raped. Well, he didn't really force me. He didn't really, beat me up and take it, but I was put in a position because he's a powerful man where I couldn't say no. So now I'm giving consent, but I really didn't give consent. So now man is damned if he do and damned if he don't. And that's why at this stage, man, you need to start having contracts written up, consent forms that a woman is signing saying, I'm consenting to having sex with him right now. It's the only way you're going to be able to protect yourself at this point. Kanik read her a transcript of a podcast called Paper Route where she said, I don't like the word victim. I don't feel like a victim. I made a choice to be with that man. That's why I walked away. Right. You made a choice to be with that man, which is it's not even contradictory because basically you're saying you made a choice to be raped on several different occasions and you don't want to be labeled as a victim. That's fine. If you don't want to be labeled as a victim, then I don't know why you're doing this whole media tour at this point. When the Surviving R.Kelly thing was coming out, if you didn't feel like a victim, why was you on the media tour? You don't fit the profile and you don't fit in with the other women. Those women think they're victims. So now you probably just out there clout chasing at this point. And you're not a victim, Kanik asked. Correct, she replied. On redirect, Shahada asked her if she testified there were two sides to the defendant. Notice a lot of these women are saying that. They've been coached by the feds to somehow there's like a little thread that's going to run through all of the testimony. All of them. Well, he was a good guy and he had this bad side. And if you saw the bad side, then the monster came out. Yes, she said. It wasn't all bad. Correct, she said. If I get raped once, it's bad. I get raped twice, it's very bad. How do you go back and get raped on multiple occasions and say it wasn't all bad? What was you looking to get out of that situation to say somebody raped me and I'm going to keep going back to see if they're going to rape me again? Or can we just have a relationship this time? That doesn't make sense to me. So now we go and you see the title of this, the biggest sexual deviant in the community testifies today. And who is that? That's that black pastor. For the first time since R. Kelly and Aaliyah's 1994 wedding, the minister who officiated spoke publicly about it as he testified Wednesday under subpoena at Kelly's criminal trial. On the day after the 27th anniversary of their wedding, Nathan Edmonds, 73, a Chicago area ordained minister, testified that he officiated for Kelly and Aaliyah, whose full name was Aaliyah Dana Houghton. She died in 2001. Now, don't think that this is a coincidence, that it's the day after their 27th anniversary of their wedding that he's testifying. Don't think it's a coincidence that they keep throwing Aaliyah in here. Don't think that's a coincidence that now that album has now been put back on all these streaming services and you starting to see Aaliyah's face pop up everywhere. Don't think any of this is a coincidence. The feds are very shrewd operators. They are now trying to integrate Aaliyah into the case, which again is very foul because nobody wanted to press any charges against R.Kelly back in 1994. Her family, her father, her mother, uncles, whoever was around her, sold that young lady out so that they could get financial gain. Their own financial gain was more important than their child's. But again, like I said, don't think this is a coincidence that on the day after the 27th anniversary of their wedding, the Reverend is here to speak on it. And don't think this wasn't timed and put this way. This court case wasn't timed and set up around this time so that all of this could happen this way. Don't think that album wasn't put on the streaming services around this time just out of coincidence. None of this is a coincidence. Kelly's marriage to the late singer Aaliyah is a central part of the Brooklyn federal case against Kelly after prosecutors allege a member of Kelly's enterprise bribed a local official to create a fake ID so the marriage could take place. And again, why aren't her parents here? Where's Aaliyah's parents? Why aren't they on trial for facilitating this and being okay with this? Nobody will ever hold these parents responsible for the children that they have damaged, that now turn into the R. Kellys, the other rapists who are out here, these young girls who have daddy issues, these young girls who don't trust men at all because of things that were done to them as a child. Has nothing really to do with the man they looking at across from them. It's some stuff that didn't happen as a child. And now they view all men as garbage. Prosecutors say Aaliyah was 15 when she wed then 27-year-old Kelly. The marriage was annulled after her parents found out about it. Not directly after they found out about it. You know, there was some financial gain from her parents before that marriage was annulled. And you have to understand, if it wasn't, they would have put him in jail for statutory rape at that point. He would have faced all kind of charges for being married to Aaliyah without her parents signing off on it. All kind of charges. Prosecutors allege Kelly was the leader of a criminal enterprise and he is facing racketeering and sex trafficking charges. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Again, all of these ladies said they was in a relationship with him. I don't know where we're getting sex trafficking charges at, but that's fine. Reverend Edmonds testified he had never met Kelly or Leah until the day of their wedding, and that he'd been asked by a friend he shared with Kelly to officiate the wedding as a favor. I didn't think it was anybody special. I didn't understand it at all, Edmonds testified. I didn't think it was anybody special. What was there to understand besides you officiating a wedding? Because he knew what it was at that point. I find it hard to believe in 1994, 27 years ago, Reverend is what, 73? Probably talking, 46 at that. He may not have known who R. Kelly was. At 46, I could give him that. He testified that he married the couple at a hotel in Rosemont, Illinois, in the Chicago area. The door opened to the bedroom and out stepped Aaliyah and Mr. Kelly, Edmond testified. Edmond said the couple wore matching jogging suits for the ceremony, which lasted less than 10 minutes. They both had one leg on the jogging suit up to the knee. Edmonds testified you couldn't see her whole face because her hair was over half of her face. Man got an amazing memory for just a little 10-minute wedding. With all of the weddings he's officiated. If it really didn't mean too much. I'm gonna be honest. I can't tell you what I wore on my first wedding day. Hell, and I was in it. And if it wasn't for the pictures I have with my now wife, I couldn't tell you really what I wore on this wedding day. Yet this reverend is telling you 27 years ago, I can tell you exactly where her hair was, matching jogging suits, one pants leg up, one pants leg down, both of them, all of that. Stepped out of the room, memory sharp at 73. That's great. Neither prosecutors nor defense attorneys asked Edmond whether Aaliyah appeared young at the time of the wedding. Prosecutors previously admitted as evidence a marriage license bearing Edmond's signature that shows Aaliyah's age to be 18 and Kelly's to be 27 on August 31st, 1994, the day they married. CNN has reached out to Aaliyah's family for comment. During the first week of Kelly's trial, his former tour manager reluctantly testified against the singer about how he had bribed a worker at a local welfare office to make Aaliyah a welfare ID card. And again, nobody can get in contact with Aaliyah's family. She's out, they gone. They don't want no part of this case at all. And they don't want any part of it because they understand they would have to answer some tough questions about how did this happen? Why didn't you guys press charges against him for statutory rape? They don't want to be a part of that. They don't want to have to say, we took a cash settlement to keep our mouths shut and we signed the NDA. They don't want to have to say it. Carolyn Harris, a supervisor at the Cook County, Illinois clerk's office, also testified about the process of obtaining a marriage certificate and said the types of ID accepted by a clerk to apply for a marriage license are at the discretion of the clerk. Again, I had to show my ID. And I think I had to get my social security card. I'm not sure. But again, how she got married, how did you get a fake ID and nobody knew? The welfare office worker who was bribed, not going on trial. The guy who bribed it got an immunity deal, so he not going to jail. Everybody who helped supposedly facilitated all of this, getting ready to escape scot-free. Nobody gonna have to pay for any of the crimes they committed. Edmond's testimony took place via video conference on a TV screen placed across the courtroom from jurors, and he said he did not want to be there. Kelly, dressed in a suit and white mask, did not show emotion during the testimony. Part of the reason Edmond had never spoken publicly before, despite frequent attempts by the media to contact him, he testified, was that he was asked to sign an NDA before officiating the wedding. I kind of chuckled. Kelly asked me, why did I do that? I said it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. It should have been more airtight. So you didn't sign the NDA and you chuckled about it. Yet you kept your mouth shut for 27 years. Even after knowing sometime later that she was 15. Ultimately, Edmond did not sign the NDA, but testified he gave Kelly his word and never spoke publicly about the marriage until Wednesday, when he was forced to do so because of the subpoena. So, here we are 27 years later. Aaliyah dies in 01. He knows already Aaliyah was underage. But a man who took an oath to serve God and honor those 10 commandments said what? I gave Kelly my word that I wouldn't. So what? He's telling you, the man of the cloth, the man that you women love going for all of your marriage counseling, life counseling, all of these things, told you what? That my word was more important than the word of God. And you know why he can say that? Because that black preacher thinks he is God in the black community. And that is why a lot of you black women have not gotten married yet. It's because you have him telling you what? You need to find a man of God. What does that man of God look like? A man who marries, who understood that he married a 27-year-old man and a 15-year-old girl and decided not to report it. Is that a man of God? A man who kept this secret 27 years until his ass was in trouble and had to come and now testify because he had been subpoenaed? Is that the type of man of God you women supposed to be looking to marry? And see, again, like I said, I watched what happened with Bishop Eddie Long. All of those young boys, he skated through all of that stuff that happened in that church. And what happened? You women got that man a throne. And they carried that man around in that pulpit like he was a king. I couldn't believe it. Do you know how many black young ladies have been molested by preachers in the pulpit? How many women in that church have children by that man sitting in that pulpit? See, as much as you guys go at R.Kelly, the biggest sexual deviant in the black community, you'll go visit again on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning service. It's your boy, the Hood Nerd. I'll be back with y'all with another Day 11 reaction tomorrow. I'm out.